This show is brought to you in association with HostGator, where web hosting is made easy and affordable. Check out our hosting plans over at hostgator.com.
This game is awesome. I mean, it's the third one in the series. It's the first one on the Super Nintendo.
Everyone's gonna probably hate me for this, but I've had no real experience with this game. I remember, as a teenager, I've seen people play it, but it's not something that really interested me that much.
No, it's an adventure game. It's hard to explain it. It coined the phrase. Have you ever heard of Metroidvania?
No.
It's like Metroid, Castlevania. It's this whole thing where you had these huge levels and huge maps, but large portions of it were locked off until you had the right equipment to get through it. So there's a lot of exploring, a lot of backtracking, a lot of finding ways of solving the puzzles and getting through. So you'd need a specific bit of equipment to get through it.
Alright, you can take me through it then, because I think you seem to be the one with the most experience with this game.
Yeah. Whether I'm going to be any good at it, I don't know. It's been a long time since I played it.
Everyone's got their own personality, and I don't think it was a game that kind of was brought to my attention. I don't think it was something that I was like, yeah, okay, I'll have a go at. It was more like, yeah, okay.
Well, this was famous at the time because it had a strong female protagonist. The very first Metroid game that came out, you played this kind of power-suited Space Ranger / Marine type thing.
Okay, so when it first came out then, I take it this was a big deal.
One of those cult hits, it was really, really popular at the time when it came out. And then there was just kind of this huge reveal where once you'd finished the game, the arm would break apart and it was a woman standing there. That was kind of what made it famous, because that was one of the first great video game twists. You've been playing this whole game as this super hard, busty Space Ranger.
Okay,
not busty. no, it's busty. Super hard, burly Space Ranger. And it turns out you were actually a super hard, busty Space Ranger. Yeah.
From looking at it, and from looking at just the start of it now, it does look quite good for what it was back then.
Yeah, for back then. Yeah, it had a long story and there was a purpose behind it. And
I was only 6, so there would probably be other stuff, I think, that would have was brought to my attention other than this.
Yeah, there is a lot of story there, and I can't skip it for some reason. So, no, trust me, I've pressed all the buttons, and there you go. This is it.
Okie dokie. So, what is to be expected throughout this then?
Basically, the story is you defeated this creature called the Metroid. It had a baby. You took this baby off to a science facility. Then you get the call that the facility is being attacked by space pirates.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you're here now to see what's happened.
And this is a woman?
This is a woman.
Okay. Did that get, any bad reviews for the basis of it being a woman?
No, people loved it. This was super hardcore.
Because I just got images of guys going, what the fuck, it's a woman.
No, I think once... So like I said, in the first game you couldn't really tell it was a woman until right at the end. And then it kind of became the popular thing, and people just accepted it because it was a good game. There was no kind of stereotypes. I mean, by the time this one came out, we'd already had Street Fighter, which had female heroes and characters. And
obviously, because this character's hidden. You don't really know anything about this character.
The gender card doesn't play into it much.
And what is that?
That is the baby Metroid thing.
Okay.
That's the space pirate.
Okay.
It's called Ripley, but it doesn't look.
How is that a space pirate? It's more like a dragon.
Well, it's an alien.
Come on, seriously. It must be a game that you're better than me at. So, is there any certain Because obviously in most games it goes up in you know in like levels and stages on how you defeat bosses.
Yeah. Basically, it's like I said, you need the right equipment to defeat the bosses.
So this one should be relatively easy.
Or hard. But no, this is it. So I now have 1 minute to get out of here.
Okay.
This is just like the opening thing on the space station. The whole game takes place on this other planet where the space pirates are.
So how long does these? So you know, how long does this game roughly take to complete? Is it nothing like where it is now?
It's quite a long game, and remember this is a time when sort of save games were first kind of getting into there. It's not one of those ones where a lot of games where you'd turn it on, you'd have to start from the beginning every time. This had a save thing because it was so big, cool. And it is quite a big.
It does look interesting.
Yeah.
And I probably would have a go.
You can have a go if you want.
No, not now. I'd probably fail. I'm not going to show how bad I am at this.
That's it. This is the prologue to the story.
Okay. Does look very good, and I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Planet Zebes.
Zebes.
Or Zebes. But this is kind of, it's a precursor to modern games, really. It kind of, this set the bar for so many games back then for like having stories and all that. It's not just, okay, you are this hero and you're going through these levels and these are the bad guys. This actually had like a proper story, like a film almost. I
think, you know, thinking about it, you know, looking at, you know, the Super Nintendo games that I've played in the past, I don't think I've ever played any like story mode games. Yeah. You know, I think it's all been like, you know, fighting and racing games, so it's, you know, nothing like this at all.
Yeah. No, this is very much sort of an action puzzle platform. You can see up in the top corner, you get a little map.
Yeah.
And that kind of fills out as you play the game.
What, just the basic going left to right, up and down?
You get new areas and new things. Obviously, you can't go through that gap there, but you come back later on and you have an ability to do that.
Yeah.
Can't break through the walls. So you pretty much, you explore. You're not given any, go here, do this, gain this ability. You have to figure it all out for yourself.
Yeah.
Which I always liked.
And yet, you know, it's like you know, in games now you think of, you know, weapons and shooting and you running out of ammo, and this doesn't happen.
Well, you have your basic ammo. You do get other weapons that you have ammo for, and you need to pick up things for, and health and all that. But it upgrades as you go through the game, and it's introduced slowly.
Okay.
There you go. Trying to remember how to fire downwards. So I'm going down here. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to progress through this bit.
So with these games then,
yeah.
How, compared to games now, how long would you say this would take to complete?
Oh, I can't remember. I completed this ages ago, but this, for me, it would take a fair few hours.
Compared to a couple of days?
Compared to a couple of days. I mean, you get some games now where they can only last like 5 or 6 hours depending on what's in them. This comes from a time where obviously it wasn't so hard, the graphics weren't as demanding and you could fit stuff in, so games weren't so much limited by scope, because you could do this and you could make it as big or as short as you want, and like for this one they chose quite big.
Okay.
So it's a fairly large game, there's a large area to explore. And that's what I like about it. It's a game like sort of BioShock, where you have this huge kind of area. Ooh. There you go. I think that's your first.
So what was the age rating for this game?
I can't remember.
Because it does look quite dark, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is dark. I remember getting scared by it at certain points.
Seriously?
Yeah, they were like big old monsters and stuff.
Okay, so now I'm getting a rough idea where your fears come from.
But yeah, this is my first ability, is the morphing ball.
Where's that Metroid thing that you had?
This is what you're trying to find.
Didn't you? Oh, I thought you had it.
No. It got kidnapped by not Sigourney Weaver Ripley. I can't get through there right now. But
I'm gonna have to play this later, I think.
yeah. See, now you can morph into a ball and all that, so you can access areas that you couldn't access before. Ah, here's another one.
There's been another one.
Another powery thing. There you go.
See, I don't know how I could have missed this. It could, you know. Well, saying that, how old are you when you started playing this game?
1994. I played it pretty soon after it came out, I think. So
You must have been about 10, 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not far off that.
I think you probably have more memories on stuff like this. Seeing as I probably didn't get my first console until I was about 8 or 9.
Yeah. I remember there was like a Game Boy version of this as well.
I've seen a lot of, you know, I've got a lot of friends that have played the Metroid games on, you know, on like, is it like the Game Boy?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it for the Super Nintendo.
Okay, that just took all my missiles to get through that door. At least I could get through
You're
it.
gonna die.
Quite possibly. So I just had to use up all my missiles to come through here and get more missiles. That's
Awesome.
okay, now I'm just
Roll.
wasting them again. So
What is that thing there? Come on.
I don't know, but I've only got one missile left, so I'm not sure what to do. Well, it's all trial and error. There's no way we're going to see this whole game.
No, yeah, no, that's
but
fair enough.
no, it's cool.
So I take it you get through the game through exploring. There's not like a certain map that you've just got to follow and get through.
No, you explore. You find your own way through. I mean, this is back in the day where
It makes me sound old when you say it like that. Back in the day.
retro games, where little things came out called gaming magazines, which people used to buy and read all the time. They're kind of dying off now. Ugh. But yeah, we used to do that. And you used to find it, and they used to have like game cheats and walkthroughs and stuff.
Mm.
And I remember there was, for games like this, you would get it so they would print out the whole map and tell you where everything was, so you could follow it. And
yeah,
that was quite a challenge in itself as well. Just following those things, but this I remember when I first played this, I actually had like a notepad and paper or whatever, because I kept getting lost, so I would like draw little maps and figure out where things were, so if I played it again I'd know where to get stuff and where to do it. And that's kind of how big this game was. You would need to map it all out yourself and figure it out.
I think that's all been taken away now, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they released a Wii version of this that I played and was fairly disappointed with.
Why?
Because although it kept some of the spirit, it's just the modern way games are going with like I can't even jump up the platforms, Jesus Christ. Like story and cutscenes and voice acting and all that, they kind of ruined the game.
Yeah.
Because in these games she never really talks, and then in the modern one she talks way too much.
Sat now.
Yeah, but she's just moaning and whinging, and you're not expecting it, because she's always been, all throughout my past, she was like this really strong female character.
And now it's like, will you shut the up?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Quit your moaning, you silly bin. That sort of thing. But I'd say I could. You were saying last time with Mario Kart that you would sit there and play that all the time. I could quite happily play this for ages and ages and ages.
So that's where
And I probably will do if I can't get up these bloody platforms. Jesus Christ. On drugs.
You ain't got far to go, surely.
You think?
Seriously.
But you fall down a lot quicker than you can get back up. So it might not have seemed very long. I think. Here we go.
Awesome, done it. What the hell are they?
They're crawly things that...
Well, I could have said that.
Yeah, this can get quite tense at times. There's certain enemies and stuff that are at places where you need to go.
Okay.
It can get quite hectic in spaces like... Later on you get areas that are just full of enemies. That's your energy. That heals you, but... Hey.
So that's your health up at the top?
Yeah, energy. At 94.
So I'm just used to seeing the bars.
Yeah, it didn't have bars,
Not a countdown.
It's had numbers. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey. That's kind of like a save point.
Okay, so that's your map.
Yeah. So, save point up there.
You know, I can see myself having a go at this. It does look rather interesting, but I don't see myself being that too bothered with it. If I die, I'd probably just put the control down and leave it as it is.
Yeah, a lot of people did, but I liked it, and I picked this game not so much that I could show everybody exactly what you can do, but more just because I wanted to play it.
I think
to be honest, but it's an insight. I'm hoping people looking at it thinking, yeah, it looks interesting. It still looks good. It still holds up. I mean, there are people now who kind of like make their own versions of this game, and it looks exactly the same. And it's just like...
I think at the end of the day, I think, you know, it's a game I haven't really seen before. You know, I haven't been that interested in. From seeing this, I would happily have a go at it, but, you know, I think our personalities have kind of shown through, and that this is a game that you would happily play on for ages, and I'll just stick to Mario.
Yeah.
Stick to it.
That's fair enough, but for anybody else watching who remembers this, I'm hoping that they'll have fond memories of it. And
compared to the versions of it now?
Yeah, I mean...
Better memories than these ones?
There was the Metroid Prime games that came out on like GameCube and Wii and all that, and you know, they were like really, really good, but they weren't the same sort of game. But I'm hoping that maybe Nintendo will get their act together and make a decent version of this where
no pressure.
where she actually shuts up and they can just play it.